Hello all, welcome to Learn with Castro. As a part of Know Your Civil lecture series, in this lecture I'll be focusing on how to calculate the quantities of materials that are required for a PCC slab. In order to construct any slab, we need to estimate the quantities of materials that are required, such as cement, fine aggregate, coarse aggregate. So in this video, I'll talk about how to estimate the quantities of materials such as cement, fine aggregate and coarse aggregate which are required for a plain cement concrete slab. So initially, I am going to assume the dimensions of the slab as 20 by 20 by 0.5 feet and the grade of concrete which I am using is M20. So here M represents the mix proportion and 20 represents the characteristic compressive strength of concrete which is represented as 20 newtons per mm square or 20 megapascals. So for a concrete of grade M20, the mix proportion is usually noted as 1:1.5:3. Here 1 represents 1 part of cement, 1.5 represents 1.5 parts of fine aggregate and 3 represents 3 parts of coarse aggregate. So here 1:1.5:3 represents the ratio of cement, fine aggregate and coarse aggregate. So now let's calculate the volume of the slab. The volume of the slab is calculated as volume capital V equals to length into breadth into height. So here the length of the slab is 20 feet, breadth of the slab is 20 feet and height of the slab is 0.5 feet. The volume of the slab is usually considered as wet volume of the slab. So the wet volume of the slab is obtained as 200 cubic feet. Dry volume is calculated as dry volume equals to wet volume into 1.54. Here 1.54 is a factor. So here the dry volume of the slab is calculated as 308 cubic feet. So now we have to calculate the volume of materials. So that means we have to calculate the volume of sand, volume of cement and volume of coarse aggregate. 308 cubic feet. Now we need to calculate the volume of the materials that are required for this slab. That means we need to calculate the quantity of cement, quantity of fine aggregate and quantity of coarse aggregate that are required to cast a PCC slab. So the volume of the material is calculated by using the formula volume of material equals to ratio of material divided by total ratio into dry volume. So this is the fixed formula which is used to calculate the volume of materials. So now let's calculate the quantity of cement. So in order to calculate the quantity of cement, we have the formula which is volume of cement equals to ratio of cement divided by total ratio into dry volume. So the ratio of the cement. So for M20 grade of concrete, the ratio of the cement is 1 divided by the total ratio. Total ratio is the sum of 1 plus 1.5 plus 3. That is part of cement plus part of fine aggregate plus part of coarse aggregate. So that we are going to get the total ratio as 5.5. So therefore volume of cement equals to ratio of cement is 1, total ratio is 5.5 and the dry volume which we have calculated is 308. Therefore the total volume of cement equals to 56 cubic feet. So now we have calculated the quantity of cement in cubic feet. Now we need to convert this cubic feet into number of bags. So usually one cement bag is of 50 kgs. Now we need to find out how many bags of cement are required for this volume of cement. Number of cement bags required is calculated by using volume of cement divided by volume of one cement bag. The volume of cement is obtained as 56 cubic feet and volume of one cement bag is 1.25 cubic feet. So by calculating the value, we are going to get as 44.8 bags. So approximately 49 bags of cement are required for the considered dimensions of the slab. Now let us calculate the fine aggregate quantity. Volume of fine aggregate equals to ratio of fine aggregate divided by total ratio into dry volume. The ratio of fine aggregate is 1.5, the total ratio is 5 and the dry volume is 308. So upon calculating, the volume of fine aggregate is obtained as 84 cubic feet. Similarly, we are going to calculate the coarse aggregate quantity as well. So coarse aggregate, volume of coarse aggregate equals to ratio of coarse aggregate, which is 3, divided by total ratio, that is 5.5 into 308, which is the dry volume. So upon calculating, the volume of coarse aggregate is 168 cubic feet. And this is how you are going to calculate the quantities of cement, fine aggregate and coarse aggregate which are required in order to cast a slab of specific dimensions. In this video, I have taken an example of squared slab. So you can apply this particular example for any slab of any dimension. For RCJ slab, we also need to consider the reinforcement. That part will be discussed in the upcoming lecture videos. I hope this video is helpful for you. We'll meet in the next lecture. Thank you.